That means it's time to check tech with Kris Abel, our CJAD tech guy. Kris, I understand congratulations are in order. You have a brand new book out, right?
That's right. It's a book that I'm offering in audiobook format. You can get it for free at my website, krisabel.com. That's KRISABEL. It's called Wild Curiosity, and it's a collection of true stories involving more than 30 different types of animals, all in these remarkable circumstances where it's not a case that I'm walking around with food and attracting attention of animals. No, this is a case where the animals are curious about us as human beings. And so you will find in my book, there are tigers, there's a 6-foot-long lizard that ended up French kissing me, there's a bird that can mimic the sounds of electronics. I grew up with a wild sparrow that lived as a member of my family, would roost in my house at night, fly around the neighborhood, and come land on my shoulders. There's a spider that walks like a human being. Just really crazy, remarkable stories.
Are you Tarzan's son? Where did all this happen?
I'm not sure. So I grew up thinking that this was normal. And actually, a couple of years ago, I had the idea I wanted to do a radio series that I would go and talk to wildlife experts who surely must have amazing tales. And so everywhere I went to, Royal Ontario Museum, Ontario Science Center, I'd ask my wildlife friends, I'd say, do you have any of these stories to say? And they'd say, well, give us examples. What are you looking for? And I would share my stories, and they would their jaws would drop, their eyes would widen, and they go, no, we have nothing like that.
Oh.
And they would grill me about these experiences because they found them scientifically interesting. So when I realized I didn't have a radio series, I thought, okay, well, I'll sit down and commit my own tales because clearly they seem to be of interest. And I do try to unpack in the book why is it that this seems to be happening a lot to me. And so I try to offer advice about what it is that I might be doing so that if you're out for a walk in the woods or you're walking along the beach, what might increase the chances that you might have a moment with a wild animal. And certainly under the pandemic, we have our cities being very, very quiet, everybody staying indoors. We're seeing wild animals encroaching further and closer to our homes.
Can you give us one quick little, I don't want to give it away, and I know it's a free audiobook and we want people to listen, but can you give us one little, what can you do to kind of attract, is that the right word even, attract animals?
Yeah, well, the main thing you can do is just be quiet when you're out in the woods, you're walking around. A good time at night is to actually turn off any flashlights, shut down your phone and just allow your eyes to kind of adjust and just peripherally always sort of pay attention because often you're being watched. There are creatures that are sniffing and smelling. They just need to know that you're kind of a friendly person, and they may come closer for that reason. That's one of the first things you can do is just behave, be very quiet, and keep in mind that in the animal world, it is nonverbal. So you want your body language to kind of communicate. That's often been what's successful for me is that I don't speak. I actually sort of try to be as emotive as I can with my movements, and I notice the creatures pay attention for that, and they will often respond to it.
Yeah, also probably not a bad idea to wear a pair of pants made out of cookies, right? Because they're all attracted to food. That would be one way to get it, right?
That's one way, but that's the thing that I'm sort of happy with is that none of these circumstances involve me walking around making noises or having food. This is something where, there's a couple of times I find myself being followed. And I will turn around and have this back and forth with an animal, and it's not because I have any food, but in the one case, there's a small squirrel that just wants to play. There's that kind of, especially with younger creatures, really they don't know what a human being is, and so it's oftentimes the first time that they come across you. That might be the chance for an activity. In my book, I talk about I was out in the woods and I found myself surrounded by 6 vultures. And having talked to ornithologists as to why this happened, because they're surprised that there's 6 of them. Usually vultures are solitary. You don't get a pack of 6 walking around like teenagers to try to harass somebody. I had 6 of them surround me in the woods. And yes, it was a case that I was probably their first human being, and they just wanted to figure out what I was.
All right, listen, tell people how to get this book. What do they do?
They go to my website, krisabel.com,
Okay.
KRISABEL.
Yep.
It's one of the second blog post on it. Just click on there, and all 14 chapters are there. You just click on it, and you can listen to them.